Live and on demand from the heart of Europe, Wiesbaden, Germany. You're listening to a very special impromptu episode of Shot from the Point. No! It's in the crease of Tommy C. Boy, my head's up my ass. I just got up. It's Europe. It's in the morning. Something happened last night that was absolutely special. The war is over. We are ending it. And I'm going to tell you who won. It was called Team Joe Cronin. We took a bitch out. And now, only now, does he know what it means to screw with, I'm calling it Team Cronin. Taken out, made to look like a bitch. And we're going to go over that right now. I know I didn't pump this show up or anything. I know I didn't do anything of that kind. I don't care how many hits it's, but this right here is a record. It is an historic record of what happened. And we're going to be going over that right now. What you're listening to out of Buenos Aires, Argentina. This is Border. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for listening. I have none other than Mr. Jesse. Oh, God. Jabber or Jaber? What do I got?
Jaber.
Jesse
J.
Jesse J. I already forgot. That's look, it's morning time for me. You can see the coffee in my hand. I got a lot on my mind. I'd probably give this thing a lot more prep and a lot more background. But what I want to do is you are a musician, you're a Joe Cronin fan, you're a wrestling aficionado, and what I want to do right now is go over the whole story, and I do want to do some wrestling talk because I know you're real passionate about that as well, and just give everybody an idea what happened. Something epic happened last night, and it was one of my favorite wrestlers from back in the day, which I think was one of the reasons I got so passionate about it in the beginning. It's one of these things like, you think somebody's really cool, and then the reality is, like, all of a sudden, this guy that you think was really cool hates your buddy, or has a problem with your buddy over extenuating circumstances, some bullshit reasons. But it all got fixed because we're going to squash it here tonight, and I just want this as a record. I'm not even looking for a big light audience. I don't care if anybody listens whatsoever, but I want this here forever. And that's the point. So you think that's a good idea there, Jesse J?
Yeah, man. I like the way you put that. I just want this here forever. That's all.
I want this for you forever. I want this as a matter of record, and I want Nick Foley, wherever he goes in life, to remember what he did and what he said. And he even dug himself a bigger hole. Instead of, you know what? All right, let's tell the story. But here's what I'll leave it on this. Sometimes you got to apologize in life. Sometimes you don't apologize. This was one of those times, and he let the opportunity go through. Let me start the story. It starts with a 2-minute video from Joe Cronin announcing the Joe Cronin of the Joe Cronin Show, who, of course, has a wrestling call-in program. He's a big supporter of our effort here on YouTube. He is the reason that I'm probably even still doing this because he keeps making it interesting for me and keeps pushing me and suggesting things, getting me on the software track. I don't have a lot of background in this stuff, but Joe has been a huge influence and support, and which is one of the reasons I got actually legitimately upset. So the video starts, 2-minute video about Rey Mysterio injury. In this video, Joe Cronin uses a Mexican-American accent. Just like on our show, Shot from the Point, we use Russian accents. We play the Swedish chef when we interview Swedish hockey players. We do all that stuff, just to be goofy, just to have fun. Now, Joe uses a Mexican accent. talks about how freaky it is that Rey Mysterio seems to be getting injured a lot. By the way, Rey Mysterio is 39 years old. I mean, it's tough to beat up your body like that at that age. You know, he's not at the beginning of his career. And so-called wrestling journalist, who I don't know where this guy even writes, this guy Nick Foley, decides to swing off of Konnan's nuts, the great wrestler from the WCW days, and says, look, there's this guy, Joe Cronin, he's making fun of your best friend, and I think there's racial undertones here. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but this was the Twitter. So, Cronin, being the man that he is, calls Joe Cronin out and says, hey, what the fuck? Where do you get off talking to my friend that way? Which, you know what? I'm all for that. Be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, I'm like that, and I think maybe that's why I like Konnan so much in my early 20s, because that's the way I am. You stick up for your buddies. That's the way it should be. So Joe Cronin and Konnan kind of cash it out. He sends him the video. Konnan listens to the video and says, hey, look, there's nothing here. My bad, bro. And that's it. But that wasn't enough for me. Now, look, most of the stuff that I do in Shot from the Point, it's what I call a half character. I'm not me all the time. And it's a comedy show about hockey, and it's a talk show about hockey in sort of what people might call a shock jock format. I told the story to Jake, my other co-host, and I actually got, for the first time, legitimately upset. I think it's really garbage when you try to make a racial incident when there isn't one. To say that there was racial undertones over a 2-minute video where you use an accent, which he wasn't even... Jesse, did you think he was being disparaging in any way to Rey Mysterio?
Joe?
Yeah, I didn't even think it was mildly disparaging.
No. I mean, some people, like I told Joe this, I said, some people are going to... it's subjective. Some people can say, this guy, even if you don't think it's a racial thing, they could say, oh, well, he has no respect for Rey Mysterio as an athlete or whatever.
Yeah.
But guys like us, we see it and we go, oh, that's great. He did a great impression, or we get it, basically.
Yeah, I just thought it was an impression. And look, Ray's just had this injury after this huge comeback. He's probably ridiculously frustrated. I'm fixing your camera right now. Not on your end, but mine. He's ridiculously frustrated right now. I can imagine his best buddy's frustrated for him. So to call Joe out was completely understandable. But once he got to the bottom of it, Konnan manned up and said, look, I got this wrong. And you know what? Apparently he says this happens a lot in Spanish and English. So what happens there is... Konnan's got a promotion called Major League Wrestling, MW, what's it called, MLW? Yeah. Is that correct?
And I think it stands for Major League Wrestling.
Which we're going to get into a little bit later. But by the way, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. So he says that he might call in to Joe Cronin. Now, this guy Foley is under a lot of pressure. He's getting tweets, he's getting videos from me. And he actually has the guts to go on and says, look, if you have to call somebody a racist to promote your wrestling show, all I got to say is you suck. Paraphrasing, of course. And which is really funny because he tried to use the racial angle to bring himself attention. And through Joe's show, who's damn near got 200 subs. So what we're seeing here is Joe is getting popular. And you're seeing the rats come out of the sewer to either cash in on that or, how can I say that, ruin it or screw with him. Like you said, on Shot from the Point on Sundays, mess with somebody's good name for no other reason than doing it. Jealousy.
Yeah.
God, act like a bunch of bitches.
This guy just wouldn't give it up either. This Nick Foley.
Well, that's the thing.
After Konnan squashed it. He actually started ripping on fucking Konnan.
Yeah.
Saying, you're lowering yourself going onto this asshole show for 16 viewers.
Lowering yourself. First of all, Joe's going to get a lot more than that because the damn thing's on demand.
He had almost 100 viewers tonight, actually.
He had 100 viewers tonight.
I think he told me 80 viewers or something like that.
That's like pay-per-view numbers for him. So this incident just helped. And let me tell you something. Lower yourself. Lower yourself. I'm dying here.
He said paraphrasing. I mean, he said some shit like that. I can pull it up on Twitter, but I mean, he basically told him, you're trying to get fame off of this little, racist show or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Well,
even Konnan tells him, he goes, famous? Really, bro?
Yeah, really. He's already famous. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just like, and he told him to squash it.
That's what Joe said. That's what Joe said. It was a ridiculous statement that guy said.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's got a name in the business. I mean, he's a retired wrestler. Conan's 50 years old, I mean, at this point in his life, he's probably looking to promote. I mean, his knowledge of the business is probably just incredible. The stories are probably go way back. He's got an intense knowledge of this business, and he's trying to put his skills and his personality into this new program. So the thing that really gets me, I'm glad you brought that up, because he didn't let it go. He didn't say he was sorry. First, this guy gets Konnan all whipped up. Then it turns out it's not true. And then he insults him for going on Joe's show. Joe gets 100 views, and it's probably going to be more like a couple thousand by this time next week. So everybody knows who Nick Foley is now. Another thing is, to lower yourself, who's Nick Foley? Have you ever heard of Nick Foley?
No, the only reason he's taking a fucking famous wrestler's name, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who he is. Joe Cronin's got 2,000 subs. Is he the biggest guy in wrestling podcasting? No, but he's obviously climbing up. He's obviously getting people's attention, and this douche or whatever he is, decide he's it's just a classic case of projection. He starts a racial incident, then he accuses the other guy of starting a racial incident, and then he gets mad because look, when Konnan goes on Joe's show, it basically invalidates him, and that's what he's really trying to protect here. He's not saying he doesn't care. Like, why are you lowering yourself? And then he kind of referred him. If you want to look at that Twitter feed, he kind of suggested he was some kind of corporate sellout by going on Joe's show. Well, if he's only getting 10 people to listen to him, what kind of sellout is he? He's obviously trying to going on Joe's show to promote his stuff. By the way, I go on Joe's show to promote my stuff. It's just the way the thing works. It's the way the whole thing works. And he talked about not just his promotion, but he talked about pro wrestling. He talked about the incident. He gave you some inside view on the current Daniel Bryan situation. So it's not like he just went in there and took from Joe and left. So, I mean, look, this sucker's over. We own this guy. Team Cronin won, and he didn't expect it. He thought he could take down an easy mark. He thought he could take down somebody's good name, as you put it, which is really the best way to put it. And I made my video, and I stand by my statement. I don't think calling people racist is and that's the reason I got so upset to begin with, is right. I mean, that's a really horrible thing to say to somebody, because basically what you're saying is they don't think that people that are different than them are human beings. That's pretty serious. And you know what? I don't know if Joe Cronin makes a Mexican-American accent in a comedic form. Does that make him a person that doesn't look as others as human beings? It's really the most. It's thrown around so much in American politics nowadays, and so easily. It's really terrible. And
I like the way you put that. Basically, like you're right. Like, does it mean he can't care about people, for Christ's sake?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
That's exactly what he's saying. You're basically look, racists are a real racist. It is like a sociopath, and that's what he just called. He called my friend a sociopath. So he got rejection. Konnan heard what Joe was doing, and he realized this is my target audience as far as with my wrestling thing, and this guy is the type of guy that we're trying to market our stuff to, and Foley's one of the bad guys. Truly, he's one of the sellouts. So, I mean, he's basically trying to do anything he can to get on the map, and all he did was help somebody else. Somebody decided to hate for whatever reason. The smarter thing to do would have been to go to Cronin and say, look, I'm starting a wrestling journalism career. I'd love to go on the show and talk about what I'm doing and talk about wrestling, and then you could drop all your knowledge about wrestling. Wouldn't that have been a better solution? Instead of creating, now you are known for creating an unnecessary racial incident inside the wrestling community. And that's what I'm saying. I'm doing this as a matter of record. You have any more statement on this? Because I want to get into some other stuff that Konnan did.
No, I agree with you. Let's get into some other shit. Actually, speaking of wrestling news, I think this is pretty new. I guess, okay, there's some stuff. David, I don't know how to say his fucking last name.
Yeah.
On PW Insider, Dave's SCHERER wrote about today regarding the status of CM Punk. He is officially under contract to WWE. There has been no release issued, according to several people in the company we spoke to tonight.
Okay, I think I know what's going on. I can read into that. Here's what happened, if I had to guess. And I'm convinced after listening to Konnan's interview with Joe Cronin that this is the case. This isn't a work. The Daniel Bryan thing isn't a work. They weren't planning for it to be a work. They are. I think it's safe to say now. It's they're burying Bryant, and I think it's safe to say now that CM Punk's sudden departure is not a work either, and that is probably in some roundabout way support.
I was
for
just
Bryant.
reading here, what I just read here kind of played contrary to that. It said that there was no release and that he still is under contract.
You're not reading into it. You're not reading into it correctly. What's happening is they're looking to sue CM Punk. If the WWE said something like that, they are probably trying to recruit and force him back. So they're saying, we didn't release this guy, and they're probably look for a lawsuit in the coming weeks or months towards CM Punk. So basically what they're saying that he left and he violated his own contract. I guarantee you that they were embarrassed by this. This even convinces me even more that this isn't a work. That this is actual drama. So what they're doing is saying, hey, we never released him, and they're setting up a lawsuit. And they're probably going to try to force him back into the ring. And that's a lot of money coming down on you with the entire WWE legal staff. So what they're saying is CM Punk's departure was a violation of his contract. Get back in the ring, or we're going to see in court. I mean, that's the thing that really got me. I mean, like when I first heard about it, it's like he could just walk off like that. I mean, they have multi-million-dollar contracts.
Yeah, he had 6 more months to go.
He had 6 months. So you could make the case, the legal case, that he didn't. You could make the legal case that he broke his contract, so he may be negligent. So the fact that they're saying and they remove all his posters, they stop the promotion, and they make an official release that you just mentioned, they're looking to sue him, Jesse. They're looking to sue him or try to force him back in the ring.
Well, I don't know where this wasn't on WWE.com or anything. This was, I mean,
where do you get it from?
On PW Insider. So.
PW Insider, and what's their source?
By Mike Johnson.
Well, let's go under this. Let's go under if this is true.
I got the name here. I just can't pronounce his last name.
Oh, okay. Well, look.
On Skype
all right. So basically, a wrestling journalist is saying that his sources are saying that WWE is not. So if that's true, and that's what we'll go under the air quotes for it. If that's true, that means that WWF did not like the way CM Punk, and they may be gearing up to sue him because they're saying, look, you broke your contract. And actually, I don't know in a legal sense, unless there's something in his contract that says he can walk off under certain circumstances. I don't know if that he has a leg to stand on.
I wouldn't put it past Punk to put something like that in there.
Me either. But I can't imagine Vince McMahon allowing Punk to put something in there. You know. So, look, who knows? This is all speculation. But I don't believe for a minute that this is a work anymore. I think the only way we see Daniel Bryan with a belt around his waist is two things. Triple H up and quits, and Paul Heyman gets in charge of booking, or or the fans just keep pushing it. And that's what I want to talk about with what Konnan talked about with Cronin a little bit. The thing that really get me, he talked about when Rey Mysterio was champion and how they pretty much the fans forced them to put, because the amount of merchandise he was putting, the amount of asses he was putting in the seats in California, the fans actually changed the storyline. And so what do? They smashed him in home areas, which Vince McMahon's known to do that. We know the Bret Hart incident, Wrestling with Shadows, is legendary. So they smashed him in home territories where Rey Mysterio is the most famous. And this is exactly what they're doing with Daniel Bryan. Konnan said something else that I thought was interesting, that he used to hang around Hall and Nash. And he talked about, like, you have to have the look. This has been a long thing with wrestling. Obviously, it hasn't, that you have to be well over 6'3" and have this magnificent body. And what Konnan said is, that's not true anymore. If it ever was. If you're promoted correctly, then if you're promoted correctly and you're good, you can get over. But what these guys are trying to do, I think guys like Triple H and whoever's really in charge over there, the booking, they're almost trying to prove their own worldview. They're trying to show that, yeah, you have to have a Triple H look. Like, they can't stand guys like Daniel Bryan. You know why? Because it's the end. It is the end of the Triple H era as far as in the ring. He's well over 40 years old. I remember he used to complain about this in his 20s. This is the funny part. He's well over 40 years old. It's the Daniel Bryants are coming in. We've already proved you don't have to be super huge to be champion. Look at Steve Austin. He wasn't like a Titan. He wasn't a Hulk Hogan in the ring. Yet he held the belt. He didn't have the traditional look.
Wait, what do you mean a Hulk Hogan in the ring?
Like a Hulk Hogan, the Hulk Hogan look in the ring, the Hulk Hogan body. Austin didn't have that, and he was a great champion.
Okay. I thought you were talking about a worker. I'm like, wait a minute.
No. Hogan was awful in the ring. Believe me, I know that. I'm not that bad. Hogan had the other two. He could cut a promo, and he had that charisma.
And he had that Vince McMahon look, what he really likes.
Yeah, and he knew how to kiss ass backstage. The fourth end. There's the fourth wall right there. So, I listen to that. So I think I think Konnan's reading this the way it should be, or the way it actually is. That they are trying to bury this guy because they do believe in this this old way of thinking that you have to have this monstrous Titan body, and what you do in the ring is not so important as much as you I guess cut promos, and that's it. The work, in-ring work, doesn't matter. It's just, look, we can promote and push down anybody we want. And then look, real wrestling fans and smarts know that that's not true. That the personalities are built. And they're really built by the fans. So, all right, I'm pretty much, like, the Daniel Bryan thing's a work. Not a work. I think I think it's fair to say they're bearing. And it's real. It's happening. Any comments?
Oh, it's weird. The one thing I can't say for sure is whether or not he's pissed about it, or if it seems like Daniel Bryan's just playing along with it. He's happy to just be there.
What choices he has? He's at the top.
Exactly.
He's at the top of the thing. He's never going to go any higher than this. He doesn't. I mean, he get sick. It's also crossed my mind. I think I mentioned to Chris Tazovich offline. Everybody's got a line in the stand. Maybe they didn't cross it with Bryan yet. Maybe he's got bills. Maybe.
No, I agree. But I mean, we said a second ago, rings true too. I mean, rings true. What if eventually he's gonna go down a little bit, and he's gonna be used to bring other guys up? So right now is actually the hottest he's gonna be, if you think about it. Once they give him the belt, things are gonna change.
Well, I think the bookers know that, and I think they're hoping it to keep their own guys in charge. I think it's fair to say, because I mentioned that on Joe's show 2 weeks ago, that the momentum is there. If he doesn't get the belt, you may lose the momentum with the fans. If the fans just kind of up and give up and move on to another wrestler. And I don't think Triple H and those folks care so much about that, because they just don't like the guy. They don't think he can carry the company, and they probably, at some level, know he can carry the company, but that means their era is over.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean,
their era is over.
Look at the guys he's pushing right now. It's like Triple H mocking,
Yeah.
Or a mold of Triple H.
Yeah, their era is over. It's done, and they're protecting it. They're protecting what's theirs. You know, I mean, not putting Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble pretty much told you that. And the funny thing is they put Ray to take the heat for Daniel Bryan's spot. He was number 30, correct, in the Royal Rumble? Mysterio?
Yeah, and that was just horrible because he's a big baby face, and you give that guy the spot that anyone was going to get booed.
Yeah, so exactly, and I got the impression from Konnan that he's not that well liked in that upper echelon, that Triple H echelon.
Well, think about it. I mean, we were talking like when that guy was going off on the racist thing the other night. I told him, "You guys really want to talk racist? Let's talk Vince McMahon."
Yeah. Yeah. How many minorities have been world champion? How many minorities that have been over have not been world champion? Let's go back to the 80s. What about Junkyard Dog?
Yeah, I mean, talk about over. Guys like that were really doing well. I mean, but they were never going to get that big push.
No. Minorities have been buried in the WWE traditionally. Yes, Rocky got there. It took him a while. And Ray had the belt for a little while, and they buried him because he was small. I don't think that was so much a racist thing as much as they, it's what you're seeing in the WWE right now is the, what was it? Brian Russo WCW era has come to the WWE. The only difference is it's Triple H, Batista, and Sheamus controlling instead of Hogan, Hall, and Nash. And I think that's what you're seeing right now. We saw this whole thing with Kidman and WCW. We saw guys that were big workers, great workers that just couldn't get over in the WCW era. You're seeing this right now again, and it's really unfortunate. And I think you have to do what Konnan said. You have to keep cheering. You got to keep doing yes, even though I think that's a weird chant. I don't really like that chant. You got to keep doing the yes. You got to keep. You know what
I like about it? I would agree with you 100%, except for the fact that it gives us. You know how they do the stupid poll voting and they say give the WWE universe a voice or whatever. What that yes and his no chant does? It gives us a voice. When we don't like something, we can chant the shit out of it. No, yes, whatever.
And I would recommend highly that you guys keep doing that because it's the only way it's going to get out. Keep it up. Keep it going. Force these guys. Force Vince to take a look at who's booking and who and say, you know what? Maybe it's for the best interest of the company that Daniel Bryan has it. Maybe we're going to lose some fans down the road. You've expressed frustration. Chris Tazovich has expressed frustration.
And to be honest, like Joe and Chris, they're extremely. I'm a loyal guy to the WWE for the past, but Chris and Joe, I mean, it hits them a lot harder. Like they'll literally just they probably. I mean, they get a lot more pissed than I do. I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, like especially Tosevich, he might give it up. I don't know.
He can't because I'm gonna call him and yell at him. If that's the case, he can't do that. He can't do that. He's not.
No, I don't know if he'd give it up. I can't speak for him, but you know what I mean. It's
he can't leave Team Cronin. We just defeated Mick Foley. We took him to the mat. 1, 2, 3. We can't do that now. Come on.
No, it's great. You know, that guy Konnan even called him out and said, you know, you were supposed to go on Joe's show.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about that. Let's talk about that. Like, you know, take a guy. Was it Brian Anderson last week?
Exactly.
Agrees. Respect, or really, it's funny thing about the Brian Anderson interview. This is a guy that said that maybe we should suspend Daniel Bryan if his fans keep interrupting the show. And he did go on Cronin shows, like he said, that was kayfabe. That was kind of a work, but he was worked his design attention. It did. So they put Bryan on, and where everybody's all looking to take the guy's head off, and then at the end of the day, Anderson just had a different opinion. He thinks that the direction, in WC or the direction that WWF is taking Bryan is good for the company. And then at the end of the day, we all wanted to hate this guy, but we realized, look, the guy's got a different opinion. That's all. He's not a bad person. Take a guy like Foley, who is legitimately trying to create controversy to promote his name, trying to upset somebody. Trying to make a phony trying to make like a phony incident, that's a little different. I mean, in some ways, like, I don't want to say like Joe Cronin looked like a fool or anything, or any of us did, but we kind of like, Anderson kind of put us in our place by sticking to his guns and say, look, I just disagree. And I was all ready for him to come out swinging. But he kind of won in a roundabout way by saying, hey, look, maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, this is my opinion, and here's why. And that's like a good guy. That's this journalist, like, and then he comes on, he says, I'm going to come on and I'm going to face you. And then this guy, at one point, did he say he was going to come on? He completely bitches out.
I don't know. I think Joe said he said that to him, but yeah, that's I didn't see a public tweet about that myself, but I think he said that to Joe.
Yeah, so he bitched out.
Because we were expecting him to call, and we got Konnan.
You got Konnan instead, which is much better, because what could Foley have to say?
Yeah, it was awesome. Thought about making lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what this turned into. Is he made a complete lemonade situation out of this, and that's fantastic. That's really great stuff. I am totally excited about the future of the Joe Cronin Show. I'm glad I could kind of sort of help
I've
this.
been a supporter since the moment I saw it. I'm hyped about it.
Yeah, and I'm glad I could be a part of it, and I'm glad I could sort of help put this guy in place. But you know what? I couldn't. What Konnan did tonight, initially admitting he was wrong, coming on the show, reaching out to Joe Cronin's fans, and say, look, I got a product. One of the things he said is like, he wants to see more in-ring wrestling and less, the things like the gimmicks that make you feel embarrassed to be a wrestling fan. And then he put his promotion, Major League Wrestling, which I think is a great idea, by the way, which is something I used to talk about with my little brother when we were kids. Why don't you make it, try to pretend, I suppose, it's more of a mainstream sport rather than, you stole my thing my horse or my plastic horse that I take to the ring, and that's the whole angle. Yeah, or like these really corny 80s angles and what have you. Why don't you just make it the storylines a little more direct, sort of like they do in New Japan Wrestling. It's more about what they do in the ring than any kind of a storyline that's written in. And I like to see that. And then I could see the Konnan, he connected with Joe. Because this is.
I just gotta. I'm sorry. Sure. I was looking at some of the worst gimmicks. You were just bringing that up about WWE. I just happened to pass over Konnan's gimmick in WWE.
What was his? Yeah, it was the Moon something.
Max Moon.
Like what was his? Because I was that was mid '90s and I was definitely not interested in those days. So
this is like a top 40 worst gimmick. That was on this list anyway, and this was made number 8. And that's not his fault. That's just
sure.
That's the point of WWE's horrible booking over the years.
Yeah, they were in a transitional period at this time. Oh God. Oh,
I mean, this whole list is filled with ones that Joe would probably remember really well because this was like probably early '90s, '95 type shit.
So if
like,
I remember correctly,
Mantar and fucking, some of these are new. Man. Mortis, Glacier, Zeus.
Was Max Moon? I don't want to be getting in trouble for playing any WWE video. Was Max Moon like the guy that came out and like shot the lasers out of his hands? It was kind of some kind of.
Joe would remember. I'm more familiar with him in WCW. Joe would know more probably about that.
We played his.
This list is hilarious. The shit that they did over the years. The Goon.
Was a hockey player.
Yeah, I think so. Fucking God. The Repo Man, the Berserker, fucking the Mountie.
It's almost like they're trying to. Here's Max Moon versus Repo Man. It's almost
and
like
these were great wrestlers that they used in these gimmicks, and they fucking ruined them with these gimmicks.
Sure, but I mean, this is a different era. This is an era coming out of the '80s where they were able to get away with that stuff, and a lot of wrestling fans. That were into the a lot of wrestling fans that were into what was going on in the 80s were now teenagers. So I mean, this is it. This is the end. And then poor boy Ray looks really young in this outfit. It's really funny to see him. This is the end of an era. it was really, you almost like, because people seem to long for this Attitude Era. This is the reason the Attitude Era took place, because there was a rebellion. This is the reason that if Daniel Bryan is ever able to get the championship, which I gotta be honest with you, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because I think I'm getting the feeling that guys like Triple H would rather hurt the company than lose their sort of wrestling place with the company. Just hang on like Hogan.
I do think he'll get the strap. I think he'll get it, but I think they'll fuck it up as far as the timing, and I think
probably
that they'll ruin
deliberately.
it after the fact.
Probably deliberately, but swear up and down that this is the best thing for the company, because that's probably how they justify. If I had to guess, that's how they justify everything. Hey, look, Daniel, I know you're over.
He said, I'm sorry.
I can imagine conversation. Hey, Daniel, I know you're over more than any other wrestler here right now, but look, I've been in the business a long time, and you have to do more before we do this. Just because we don't want to give you the belt and have it be short, you know. So just keep doing what you're doing and trust us. I mean, I'm sure conversations like that are going on.
Exactly, good, you know.
And he's probably a soldier, and he's soldiering on, because they teach you that in wrestling, that you can't, you know, because I must be tough for wrestlers, because all they have to do is put the belt on me, and then I'm a champion. It isn't that easy, that's true, but what happens is when the wrong guys get in control of the booking, which is what happened in WCW, when the wrong guys get in control of the booking, then you see what's happening now.
Exactly.
Triple H has become what he hated in 1998. It's really a spectacular metamorphosis. I can remember when he was in DX, sitting outside the Turner buildings, talking about we're the young and these guys are the old, and you know, it's time for the old to move over. I remember him sitting there with X-Pac and China, and look how times have changed. It's an art imitates life thing. You know, now that he has the suit on, he really is a suit.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, in real life, it's not just that he's a heel character. He really is a suit. You know, hey, that's where we're at. But you know, it was really great to see Kdawg. It was really great to put Foley in his place. This Nick Foley. I don't want to say Mick. I want to think Mick Foley. Mick Foley's one of the great. He's a legend, and he's the best. I would never want to disparage Mick Foley in any other way. Plus, we're both East Coast
guys. Fuck that guy for even taking that name or using it in any form or fashion.
You know what Jake Link says, my other co-host? He says he likes the writing of the Overtaker or Quadruple H.
Yeah, he had a few of them the other day. That was funny.
Well, you know what the thing is? If you watch my video, where I actually get legitimately mad and not just doing some dopey character, he's desperately trying to do his jokes because that's his job, and I'm just like so focused, and they're really funny, but I'm just like so focused on what's going on that I can't let him get a word in edgewise, and I'm a little embarrassed about that. And speaking of the video, they did play on the Joe Cronin Show. I mean, now it's kind of laughable. I mean, I'm not embarrassed that I did it or anything, but it's just like, really, I got that mad. No, don't backtrack. You got mad for good reason. You got mad because somebody was talking about your friend in a way that wasn't true. Yeah, no, I'm not backtracking, but I guess when you hear it on the Joe Cronin Show and everybody's kind of laughing at you, and if it was somebody else, I'd laugh too. You know, you have this like moment, like, because I remember that moment very differently than I see it now. I remember that as just it's total rage. But I mean, look, I'm over it already, and it's like Konnan said, it's squashed. It's a riot, and I think we're gonna be looking at it a lot differently in the months to come, or like when we go over this a year from now. No, it's funny. Like Joe will do that too. Like he'll even if somebody like with you, you're a friend, but somebody will leave him a voicemail and say some shit negative or whatever. He'll take a clip out of it and he'll use it for months on the show. Yeah, I know. But those are the goofballs that call in. I'm supposed to be better than that, you know. No, but it's good, dude. I love that. What I'm getting at is like that rant you did. I mean, you could use bits of that. That shit was great. It was total Joe Cronin Show material. Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope. Do we cover everything?
Oh yeah, yeah, there's not much else to cover. That was pretty much the show tonight as well. After Conan, it was just a review and YouTube crashed.
Well, they had a YouTube crash. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that link on there right now for the show that we're talking about. It's an amazing show. It has Conan on that. I'm gonna put the link inside of actually as we speak inside the lower part. So you just have to probably refresh the page as.
Yeah, the thing we didn't cover is MLW, but I don't know if either one of us know enough about it. I'm just starting to look at it myself. So
Show with Kdawg with Konnan. All right, I'm putting this in now. You can check the link. It's right. It's the first link below in the comments section or the description section, and you can check out the whole incident. They'll play my dopey clip and what have you. God, I hope we're not f***ing out here. You see, I never look at the comments. Does anybody actually? Oh, Joe's in there. He made a comment. I don't read the comments. I got to be honest with you when I'm broadcasting because I just don't have that I'm not that. I don't have that kind of multi-track mind that I'm actually able to do that.
it's funny. Joe's fans get pissed when he doesn't respond. They're like, "Joe, God damn it!"
Oh God, he's broadcasting on like 3 freaking channels. How can everybody do that? I can't do that. I got a bit to do. I mean, come on. Jesus, it's hard enough. And look, I know Joe went to school for an art school or something like that. I didn't. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm a rank amateur. I've been totally upfront about this from day one. I'm a rank amateur. I'm learning as I go. I'm like, they say in Germany over here, like, Americans learn by doing. Well, I'm doing. And, I'm trying to, figure this whole thing out. But like I said, this is a matter of record. We had this Nick Foley incident. To make it all short, Nick Foley accused my buddy Joe Cronin of making making light and racial undertones of Rey Mysterio. He responded with a video, and he also had to hash things out with Konnan, which is Rey Mysterio's best friend. I made a video accusing Nick Foley of being a racist by trying to manufacture a racial incident. That ended up with Foley threatening to come on Joe's show that he bitched out on. And Konnan, the real celebrity, came on and talked about what happened. And promoted his show and gave his views on wrestling. And we finish up as winners as Nick Foley turns on Konnan because he really doesn't understand why Konnan doesn't support him in this situation. And
oh my God! Wait, did you get the comment about Konnan actually told him, "Dude, if you don't drop it, I'm gonna bury this 8 inches in your ass" or some shit. He told Konnan told that to Nick Foley.
Well, I mean, the guy's trying to save face. I don't think it's promotion at this point. He's trying to save face. He's now known as the guy who made a racial incident. So if I were Nick Foley, drop your name, delete your Twitter account, stop paying for your website every month or whatever it is you're not doing because you're probably not doing much.
That's at Flawed Stone on Twitter.
Yeah, drop it. Flawed is right. You're a very flawed man. And drop everything, and then come back as, like Jake Link says, as Quadruple H or the Overtaker. That's really your best bet. Because let's say you get something going. Let's say you call into a podcast and I hear about it. Let's say something happens. I'm calling in to goof on you. And I'm going to let Joe Cronin's fans know wherever you are. Why? Because I'm a fucking psychopath. And I got nothing better to do but hate people like you. I take care of hockey reporters on my show all the time. I took one of the top hockey reporters who is well smarter than me and much better educated than I am, and I took him to task. So I can handle a runt shit like you from New Jersey. You know why? Because I grew up in New Jersey, and I know what shitbags are you like. I know all about you. I never even seen your face, and I know all about you. I know who you are. I know everything about you. I know what a phony you are. I know how you want to be accepted. I know how you see yourself as some kind of fucking genius that just isn't appreciated yet. I know you hide behind your caring for the Latino community when you don't. You're just using it. You don't care. You know what? You knew Konnan cares about Latinos. That's one of the things he's using this vehicle before. He's trying to promote Mexican wrestlers and Mexican American wrestlers. He's looking out for what's important to him, and it's people that he loves in his community, and he's using that for a vehicle, and he's trying to bring that to people in other communities. You knew that he was sensitive about this stuff, so that's what makes you the bad guy, because you tried to manufacture something. I'll remember you the rest of my life. And I'm that relentless.
That Joe Cronin fans will be on him. That's what he's got to worry about the most.
Yeah, I am that I'm a Joe Cronin fan. I am that relentless. I am that ridiculous. I will I'll try to ruin your career if I can. I don't care. I have nothing better to do. First of all, you can't do shit to me because I got nothing to lose. And second of all, I got this on record. Forever. You're a phony. That's all.
That's awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, I got it. We won. You lost. You lost. You started. You couldn't finish. You're a bitch. Konnan's 8 inches in your ass? Well, you could put all the inches together and stick them straight up your ass because that's where you're at. You're hanging on to the bars of the prison, and there's nowhere to go. You're holding on to the bars, and you're gritting your teeth. You got fucked. You got fucked. You went to the baddest motherfucker in the prison and thought you could get over on him by snitching. And now your hands are on the bars.
Oh my god, dude, that's great. Wow.
Like
He's probably watching this shit like, they're talking about me.
Jesse J. Join us here on In the Crease with Tommy T. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I was cohesive. Hey, look, it's morning time for me. God, it's 9:30 in the morning for me. I gotta get my shit together and smoke 20 more cigarettes, and then I'll be ready to go. Listen, In the Crease Tommy C is a to be announced special. It's Shot from the Point production show special. That's what we do here. And this is our latest season. We don't just cover wrestling. We cover hockey. We cover the whole world. We cover stupid videos of guys that go in and get tased in courtrooms and shit like Meet Screen Chris Kosovich did. And we're always looking for talent and new ideas. So if you like what you're hearing here, send me your ideas and shit of that nature. If you like hockey, this is the place to stay. We got all the wacky videos, and we also got a potential gold medal game coming up. I'm thinking it's going to be USA Sweden if the Americans can go over Canada. That's what we do. Do a lot of stuff. And I got to thank you, Jesse J, for coming on here and kind of keeping me focused, which I kind of lost a few times. But thanks for coming on, giving it a shot.
No, man, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no. I know you've been wanting to get into this whole podcasting, broadcasting thing, and maybe this would be kind of an entrance for you and what have you. And I am going to squash it right now. I am going to end this right now. It's over. It's over. Mr. Foley, you lost. You will forever be remembered as the guy who made a problem for no other reason than to promote yourself. And I will follow you and make sure anybody that ever hires you knows that. Have a good day.